Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am your main host, the important one, the center chair this week, Daniel Prue, and joining me way off in the rafters to my left and one to my right are Darren and Philip. Hey guys, can you see the view screen with your binoculars?
Well, this rafter is holding up all of these exploding rocks, so I'm really worried about them falling. This seems like a space OSHA hazard, SPOSHA hazard, as it were. But
yeah, I where I am, it's pretty rough, but I think it can be salvaged.
So, you know what I was thinking is fun, guys? Like alternate dimensions, right? That stuff is kind of cool. Or Marvel famously has their What If series, right? So, like, instead of Philip being NC public servant, what if you lived in South Carolina, Philip? How different would your life be? Do you know what I'm saying?
Barbecue would be different, so, yeah.
See? And that's the whole thing. And Darren, what if you hated Star Wars or something? Anyways, it's always fun. Those sorts of things are always fun.
What if your room looked like the Stargate instead of the Star Wars?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
I mean, that'd be cool, too, but...
Are there many robots in
There's the
Stargate?
Malp, and there's the Replicators. Replicators are a building block type self-replicating robot that tries to take over the galaxy, and they're very menacing. They form themselves into little bugs, but it looks like a bunch of like connecting blocks. And then the Malp is like their, we bought one, and so we're going to use it, little ROV that goes through the gate first to make sure it's like breathable air on the other side, before we send humans. That's about it.
U.S. Daniel.
I did. That's totally fair. I was going to let him go as long as he wanted to, honestly, on that one. So anyways, yeah, I was thinking about this, and we talked about this a few weeks ago. Somewhere on the internet, I came across this, and I don't know if how well this has been thought out, but I figured this would be fun to do. But I came across this prompt that said, what if Sisko was on the Defiant during Star Trek First Contact? So I thought we would take the week and have some fun and sort of develop our own version of First Contact, where we got... I guess we call it maybe a mini crossover between, or like a crossover subplot.
Okay.
In First Contact.
Now, can you recap like that first bit of First Contact, like lead us up to like that moment? Because for just those of us that haven't been watching First Contact on a yearly basis for the last 10 or 12 years.
Right. So First Contact opens and Picard has his waking nightmares of being assimilated and all this stuff, and turns out there is a Borg incursion. Right, this is essentially the second invasion of the Borg. They're heading towards Earth. I think there's still only one cube, right? Why are they only sending one cube?
that's a question for another day, Daniel.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So it's heading towards Earth. It's basically Wolf 359 2.0. And
it's like the second Battle of Bull Run.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Enterprise gets denied. They say, even though Picard would be a massive help, you would think, during that battle, they don't let him come. And then they break orders and go anyways. And so they get to the battle, and we see a couple of ships exploding, and then of course the Defiant is there, piloted by Adam Scott. And commanded by Mr. Worf.
Oh, yeah? Would a depressed person fly a ship like this?
That's the captain's chair. So I thought, and of course, it's just Worf. It's
right.
Literally, it's just an excuse to get Worf, who was on Deep Space Nine at the time, onto the Enterprise. And it's a cute little nod to fans, because this was well before... the Marvel and DC stuff that we have, to the interconnected universes that we have today.
Star Trek was really lacking in the crossover. It had potential, much potential, but it very rarely dipped into that bag.
We enjoy the exponential decline of movie writers caring how to explain Worf. So we have this one.
Oh, yeah.
This one
is at least semi-plausible.
Insurrection, it's like he happens to be on the ship because he's going this way.
I guess we'll have to delay your departure back to the station, Mr. Worf. Okay, one line.
And the last
that
one's
explains
like, I don't
it.
know, Worf's here.
Yeah, just...
Worf's here now.
Captain, I came to visit for Geordi's birthday. Oh my gosh, what's going on? A terrible adventure awaits us.
The funny thing is, Worf was so sick of just like the plot armor that brought him to the Enterprise, he decided to become captain of the Enterprise, and then everybody else left. So he's just sitting there by himself.
Can he
now.
take the hint? Like, nobody invited him. He just shows up. And then when he shows up, everyone's like, I gotta go. And he's like, aren't you in command of the ship? Look at the...
You're wearing red now, Worf. You're good. You could totally handle this.
No, you stay. We'll go. You stay.
But so they I think they beam him up, basically save him.
Yep. They basically, it's one of those, oh no, the one last shot and it's going to destroy the Defiant, and then the Enterprise heroically comes swooping in and they beam Worf aboard, and all is fine. Although,
I mean, I'm assuming they beamed the whole crew.
You would think that. I don't remember if that
it wasn't implied, but
yeah.
A-list actors only. Sorry, Ensign at the helm. You're doomed.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No more Adam Scott. So I thought it'd be fun just to kind of take it from there, take it from that point.
Okay.
But we're going to do this together as a writing exercise as a group. And so the first decision we need to make is it just Sisko and Worf, or is it the whole crew?
I vote just Sisko and Worf. It feels more targeted, and I mean, obviously it's a thought exercise. We could do whatever we want, but I feel like the more characters we add, the more it becomes like the DS9 next gen crossover movie, and it's going to be harder.
Cool.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I feel like even just adding Sisko is going to change the dynamic in a good way. Like, I'm interested to see what we kind of come up with, but I kind of vote for just Worf and Sisko. But what do you think?
I think you can potentially. I mean, like, because it'd be for Niners, it would suck to like show the other people for like 2 seconds, then never see them. I mean, like it's a balance. Like, you'd be cool to see.
If you're going to use them, but
then never, because I could see some sort of explanation of like after the Borg cube explodes, which I know is actually instantaneous in the actual movie, but for an explanation's sake.
They don't have time to offload them on the Carpathia after their ship
or they
exploded.
can beam them back to the Defiant to help, steer the salvageable ship away, or something. But no, I do think it's next gen. You kind of want to have Worf, right? I mean, no one's going to say like next gen. Nah, we're tired of Worf. You chose another series. F you. But no, so I think you do want to have Worf. I mean, how you want to have his role, we can. But I think Sisko and Worf. I think Like, just having Sisko, I think, is the argument. Whereas I think if you don't have Worf, it's the next-gen movie.
Well, yeah, no, of course we're going to have Worf.
I think he meant, like, do we want to add Jadzia and Kira and O'Brien? Oh, what about O'Brien?
O'Brien.
Next-gen character? Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so...
I just want to point out that there are, like, next-gen actors in this movie who have no roles, and now you're just going to throw in, like...
We'll make it work.
Dr. Crusher has one line, I think, in the whole movie or something.
But here's the thing. We can rewrite... We're going to be rewriting the whole movie anyways.
Yeah.
So we can change some stuff. That's no
Okay, so the bridge has Sisko in the center chair, Worf's running tactical and trying to keep the Defiant together. We still have Ensign, what's his name, at the helm, and O'Brien's in engineering, or maybe he's on the bridge.
He's always on the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the bridge engineering station. So he's flanked. You got the triangle. I like that. And then we got 2 next-gen characters coming back and Sisko, which I think will shake it up a little bit.
And you don't necessarily have to show O'Brien. Like, for the Defiant shot, you can still just have Sisko and Adam Scott and maybe Worf's at his side or something. You don't need to have the full view. What I'm saying is, when you beam the crew aboard, you could always explain away O'Brien was in the engineering section. So you don't necessarily have to show him during the battle.
True. But if we did like an introduction, like let's say we beam him over, and instead of the, Klingon who won't go to sickbay scene, we have someone beaming him on the transporter pad, and it's literally, that's the bridge crew group beam in. Mm-hmm. And so we get everybody who was on the bridge on the pad at once, which is all our main characters plus the pilot. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we can do it however
Yeah,
we
it
want.
can get dramatic. Where it's like, we're beaming the Defiant crew aboard, and they're like, okay, I've got this many aboard, and then this many, and I'm having trouble with this last group, sir. There's only 3. And then, that's when you have the dramatic, like, it takes a second, and then they go down to the transporter room, and it's, Sisko, Worf, and O'Brien.
Or you could do like like in motion picture or in some of the other movies where another character goes down. No, not the shuttle, not Spock's shuttle, but but Picard, because again they're in the heat of the battle. So what if you sent another character down to the transporter room to make sure everybody got off? Got back, correctly.
It could be Beverly, because again, she has no lines.
I was just going to say they could beam them.
Medical,
they could beam, everybody straight to sickbay.
Okay, then we don't have to do the transporter room. We could go straight to sickbay.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, they beam people directly to the bridge all the time, so I mean, you could beam them straight to sickbay. We do that.
We have the money.
Exactly.
No, but
perfect.
I like sickbay.
Already we have enough more for Beverly to do. Okay, so I like the idea of Worf.
O'Brien's like, wasn't your hair used to be different?
Jeez.
O'Brien, Worf, and Sisko, and Adam Scott. I want to expand his role a little bit.
Yeah, he's unfortunately after the transport. So it's very sad.
Doesn't he have a paper company? Wait, no, that's a different.
Because I think, and I know this is the theme, because I know we're going to be exploring Sisko and Jennifer's loss. But if you could have Adam Scott die as a result of the Borg, it inflames Sisko even more of immediacy of the cost of the Borg.
What if Adam Scott gets Ensign Lynch? Like, we don't know who Ensign Lynch is.
Oh, I like that.
But if he's now a named character that we've seen with our heroes for a little bit.
Ensign Adam Scott. Yep, I like it. It all comes back.
Or Lynch was the helmsman, right, of the Enterprise?
No, that was Hawk.
Hawk. Oh, Hawk, but Hawk dies. What if...
Spoilers.
You guys keep trying to kill Adam Scott off. I don't want to kill him
No,
off.
I'm not saying...
What if was he in Star Trek later and I missed it, Daniel? I don't think it matters.
This is an alternate universe, Philip. We can do what we want. Okay, so...
Are we also rewriting the second half of Deep Space Nine, seasons 4, 5, 6?
I also like the fact that if they're all beaming to sickbay, what if, like, O'Brien's, like, really injured? So he's going to be spending more time in sickbay, and again, we have other scenes that we know are coming up where the Borg are attacking sickbay, and now it's not just Beverly. Like, a Beverly O'Brien team up would be really interesting. I mean, I know we have the Lily character and a lot that goes into that, but I mean, we could take it whatever direction. But
I was going to say, we just have to figure out who we want to be on the ship and who we want to be on Earth.
That's true.
Between the DS9 trio.
Well, what should we do next, Daniel? So we have our people on the ship now.
I think what is very important and will inform our decisions is what is Sisko's arc here? Is this like a Sisko Picard confrontation arc, or is this more like Picard is dealing with his Borg issues, and maybe Sisko can deal separately, and we don't need to have this big. They can meet once or twice and have cool captain scenes and talk. And
how can we get Sisko and Picard on a horse? That's what I'm thinking.
Jeez. Well, I think it also comes down to like what Philip said. I mean, I think we've all kind of naturally gravitated to, well, one is on the ship and one is on the planet. Mm-hmm. Like it's not going to be Picard and Sisko tag teaming it to take on the Borg on the ship. Like, I don't see that. I mean, we can do anything, but it seems more interesting to shift him to have another responsibility. So is he going to be on the planet side team?
Well, because Picard kind of splits the difference, right? He
starts going down to the planet, but then he returns right before they lose transporters and all that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Whoa, that's a good question.
I mean, there is a part. Sorry, I was going to say there's a part of me that ends up with Sisko taking command of the Enterprise.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, if Picard goes down to the planet like he normally does, but Sisko's there, like, what's the normal protocol in that situation? Because now Sisko's the highest ranking member on the ship. Right. Or does he still Picard just naturally give command to Riker?
I mean, basically, I feel like Sisko's kind of if Sisko's on the ship, he's naturally kind of taking over the Worf role. He was on the bridge, he was kind of holding down the fort up there while everyone else was working below decks, especially once the Borg stuff starts. It'd be really interesting to have Sisko on the ship because of the Borg, because of his baggage with that. But on the other hand, if he's on the planet running that mission, that's a whole nother dynamic I've even thought of like, Zephram Cochrane and time travel and all that stuff he's got to navigate.
Here's my initial thought, is because I do want Sisko on the ship, because I also want it to be like they're in sick bay, and so like Sisko isn't necessarily ambulatory in the first 10 minutes of the movie, so he's being scanned, taken care of, but as we go in the movie, Picard and Riker, or the Way team, is basically on the Earth with Zephram Cochrane, and so when the ship goes down with the Borg, Sisko will then have to assume command because he's the most senior officer. But I also, of course, I don't want to lose the Picard-Borg dynamic. But maybe it just happens later. So, like, maybe halfway through the movie, the Borg Queen's like, wait, Locutus is on the... And then she, Borg transports him up, like, into, like, Data's cage or something. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have the Picard thing the whole movie. Maybe you can have the Sisko of it all with his, thing. And then...
What if we do this? What if we shift Lily to being on the planet... No. I was saying that Lily stays on the planet longer, and we develop the relationship with Picard on the planet, and then Picard gets pulled up later, like you said, by the Queen, and we still get the final showdown. But that way, Sisko is handling the front half of the movie, fighting the Borg on the ship, and it's that. I know what you're saying. Like, that feels more natural to have two captains, one on each location, both with the same objective.
Because I was actually, I mean, and I'm not negating what you're saying, Darren, as far as Lily, but I was also like, we could just change, cause instead of Lily being with Picard, we have O'Brien and Worf to play with. If
That's true.
So I mean, like, pairing her with O'Brien is very, like, I don't even know what we would do, but that'd be interesting just to play with that, because he's someone who's the everyman explaining to the every woman what the future's all about. But
but you would think too that there would be a natural chemistry between Lily and O'Brien, right? Because she wasn't she.
Oh, they're both engineers.
Well? Yeah. So, and like they could O'Brien could be real nerdy about,
and O'Brien could be a little kind of like Barclay was. I mean,
You're Lily.
Yeah. Like he knows, like you're the one who built. She's the one who built the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like that's she has a whole chapter in his engineering textbook.
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think putting O'Brien on the mission. I don't want to get rid of the Barclay cameo because it's great.
No, it's a good. He's on Zephram Cochrane,
right?
I think having O'Brien be like connected with Lily.
Yeah,
I mean, I get that, and maybe that's what you're trying to say, that O'Brien being an engineer, maybe we should connect him with Zephram Cochrane, but we have LaForge, and we don't need like two captains and two engineers, but because I think O'Brien, even though he is an engineer, I don't think that defines him as much as it does with Geordi. So I think O'Brien, he's heart. That's what makes his character so interesting. So I think him being with Lily, that dynamic, that relationship can be interesting.
Okay, all right. So we've got stuff to build on. So I think we're going to leave Sisko on the ship, and Picard will spend some more time on the planet, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe like we'll play with the timeline a little bit, and he'll be the one in. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay, so we go back in. Next? We're back in time. I think the next jumping point is. So we're back in time, and we realize we've destroyed the Borg sphere, and it's fired on central Montana. We realized the date. Maybe by this point we've had a scene or two where Sisko's now on the bridge, because he's going to be obviously he's deferring to Picard because it's his ship, right. But he's still going to get a seat at the table. And we can get the conference room of all conference room seats with like so many characters sitting around it. But I was going to write down like, so who are we sending to the planet? So we have Riker and Troy. I mean, there's no reason not to continue that.
Yeah, because it's hard to balance that. Because, like, in other words, this is not an answer to your question, but I guess I need to ask this question before I answer it. Are we losing the Data Borg Queen storyline? Because is the data available on the planet, or are we keeping that and I got to keep him on the ship?
I would say, and this is just my opinion, if we're going to cut some stuff too, just to keep it somewhat wieldy, I would be fine with cutting the data temptation scenes just because they don't do anything for me. I don't really care for them.
Because I think
and if he doesn't,
sorry, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, if he doesn't get captured by the Borg Queen, we could just cut that out and it'll save some time, and we could deal with Picard and the Borg Queen instead.
Because what you could then substitute, and there's just, you guys can substitute instead of Data, it's Picard getting captured and re-Locutused. And then you have Sisko having to face Locutus again.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I feel like the big scene that's going to happen is Picard has not been captured yet, but they know the Borg are on the ship, and Picard and Sisko have it out with each other, like, because they have very different, objectives on, like, because Sisko hates the Borg, and he totally feels that Picard, he agrees with Starfleet. He's like, Picard, you cannot be objective about this mission with the Borg because of your history, even though Log in his own eye, he totally can't be objective either.
They were killed by the Borg. They were killed by you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I really like that idea. But
because then
just rewinding.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because then there has to be a next gen person at Sisko's side, which I know we could say Worf, but he's divided loyalties.
I'd say Data.
So Data, but so who's basically playing that role of Sisko having to decide, whether it's a literal physical confrontation with Locutus, because maybe we just get rid of the Borg Queen, and then. And I'm not saying we need to. I like the Borg Queen. I know Daniel doesn't. But if we do, and we're like really just cutting, the Borg collective basically grab Picard in that same scene, where you can still have that stalking the Borg, the blow up the engine scene. But Picard gets grabbed and then re-Locutus, and then he becomes the Borg Queen for the rest of the episode, basically. And then Sisko has to figure out whether to kill him or not. And the next gen crew's like, please don't kill him. But, because I don't know how that gets solved, because what this movie kind of introduces is that there is no saving you now that you're assimilated. So I don't know how we save that at the end.
It doesn't really introduce that. It's just Picard is super racist and shoots him at that
Tough
point.
break, huh?
Yeah, what I was thinking was if we're trying to build out the climax, you have a scene with the Borg Queen who's essentially trying to assimilate Picard, and Picard is sort of, it seems like she's really convincing him and stuff,
right?
And then Sisko comes in to confront them, and that's when it's basically kind of like what happens with Data, where like, oh, you think maybe for a second, but then no, Picard's like, no way, never, and then they team up together to beat the Queen.
I feel like that's definitely the broad strokes. Like, we're meant to doubt, like, is Picard actually tempted by this? And I like the Sisko Worf Data team up, and Beverly, she's on the ship as well, and then that way, because I really think that'd be interesting, the dynamic of Sisko working with Data, because Data, he's never worked with Data, and I picture like the Sutherland episodes where like Data's actually in charge, like where Data's actually given like to his potential and he just knocks it out of the park, and Sisko's like impressed because Data's an amazing officer, but sometimes we kind of forget that, because there's so many other characters. But and then they're working with Beverly because they have to try to find a medical way to separate Picard from this collective, and Worf's also there, like, kind of muscle. We could get the
he's got his bat left or whatever.
Well, we can get the deflector dish scene again.
And instead of Lieutenant Hawk, you could have like Worf and O'Brien and Sisko, or next gen people.
Adam Scott.
It's just. Well, yeah, he's the one who gets. He's the one who gets killed. Thank you, Daniel.
Stop trying to kill him.
Assimilated.
Well, yeah. So we could do Sisko, Worf.
It has to be a next gen of some sort. I don't know.
Well, I mean, do we want one to be turned? I guess we can, if we're rewriting the scene. I mean, you could do Sisko, Worf, and Data.
Who's our red shirt?
But that's all like the head crew.
Yeah. Not to substitute cameos, because I do hate to lose Ethan Phillips. But so now that Sisko is there, he's being chased by the Borg, and instead of Lily, he has his people. and O'Brien or whatever, and he's like, and they're out of, nothing's working. They've adapted, and then he turns to Data, and he's like, "Where's your holodeck?" Right here. And you just see him go, and it opens up to Vix.
That'd be fun. That would be fun.
That would be cool.
And the Borg just walk in, and he's like, "Hey, Pally boys, what you doing?"
I like that. Yeah, that'd be cute.
And then now wait, sorry, I'm forgetting. So is that Vix? That's the singers guys, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. For some reason I thought he had a different name. No, Vic Fontaine. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Now, also, I'm just reminding you though, but O'Brien's on the planet at this time.
Well, like I said, like Worf, or he talks to Data, or whatever.
Talks to somebody. Yeah.
It has to be an Enterprise crew member, so Data.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
So, what about down on the planet? Like, what are our people doing down there? Because we have Riker and Troy, O'Brien and Picard, at least for the beginning. Does Geordi go down?
Yeah. I think you keep most of the planet. I think we have to do then is figure out, because Riker is basically the main character, not taking anything from Troy, on the planet with Zephram. Do you keep that Zephram and Riker dynamic? I
think so. It worked really well.
But we have Picard now. So are you giving him to Zephram, or are we introducing another element of like Earth politics or something about, the government or the...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to take that away from Riker just because that's basically what he has to do other than fight Ron Perlman.
And we know Picard's going to disappear later.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, I get
it. Yeah, I would say... Yeah, no, I don't. I wouldn't.
It doesn't matter because even though Picard's down there, it plays out like normal, except for then Picard beams back up, except for Data doesn't, or no, Data does.
It tracks. Yeah.
So Picard goes back up, but so we
Data.
still have O'Brien. Yeah, and we have O'Brien and Geordi and Riker and Troy.
Well, Brian and Lily, I think, we're going to pair up on the.
No, I'm just talking about crew that are on the planet.
So would Lily stay down on the planet then?
That's what I like. I like her helping them actually finish putting the ship together or something like that. Like we're taking off that whole subplot of her with Picard, but we're adding a subplot of Picard and Sisko, which is kind of replacing it.
I would say Lily should go on the crew of the Phoenix.
Yes.
That
so
would be
it's Zephram, so it's Cochrane, it's Lily, and
maybe...
we could keep, Geordi. We can add more seats, guys.
We can just put more seats in the back. It's not a big deal.
Do you know how long it took me to find enough? Anyway.
But she deserves it, right? Because that's what she's been working for this whole time.
Because theoretically, we stole her place from history.
Well, actually, or was she? I mean, or would she have been running mission control? Like, I don't know if she was actually destined to be on the ship.
But why not?
I think she should have been. Yeah.
That way you give her something to do.
Because remember, she said, "I'm not going up there with a drunk pilot."
That's true. That's true. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not saying we can't. I was just postulating.
But I'm just thinking that the Enterprise crew did steal that away from her. Like in the original history, she was on the first warp ship, and now we stole it away.
So, can we fit? So let's say we fit 4 seats. Could we do Cochrane and Lily, and then Geordi and O'Brien, the dual engineers in the back, are both like
there's that
half
awkward
petrified.
Moment
This isn't going to work.
Where they both walk in and they're like, "Oh, well, after you." Well, Chief. I mean,
But I'm picturing like a funny moment where like they're the ship's launched and they're it's that ready for the Warp 1 flight, but both O'Brien and Geordi are kind of, because we've seen them literally finishing it. It wasn't done in the beginning of this movie. Like they had a day or two of finishing it.
I know. O'Brien's like, I had a model of this at home. Didn't anyone else
but they're both kind of like, they're like, is this going to work or are we about to die? Like they're not sure. I'm not saying they saved the day. I'm just saying they're there to kind of represent the 100-year later expert that are like petrified that this is going to explode as it goes to Warp 1.
It reminds me of O'Brien in Trials and Tribulations, where he's like, I'm afraid to touch anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then when Zephram's all like, wait, we can't lift off without it. He's like losing his mind because he's like, what? What is it?
And then
George just gives him an eye roll like, it's, yeah.
Oh my God, no.
Classical music.
Classical. But I like that. And then that keeps Riker Troy in the
we're gonna keep the drug
command
scene.
center.
No. So the thing is, then Picard and Data go back up,
Right.
and now they're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have the confrontation scene on the bridge and in the conference room, and no Lily. So that's obviously going to be replaced by Sisko, right? About destroying the Enterprise.
Well,
Right.
Well, Picard is Locuticized.
Well, not yet.
Well, no.
He just went back up.
I think the one change I think we made, Philip, was we play it similar up to when something's going wrong and Data and Picard beam back up.
Right.
Except for the difference is that Picard is going to be the one who gets grabbed.
Right, but he gets.
Before that,
like a fourth according to the movie. You're talking about the conference scene, which is like 10 minutes from the end.
true. That's a good point. Like, how do we have Sisko and Picard debating if Picard's like already Locutus at this point?
No. So you just kind of rearrange the timeline a little bit here, right? So while all the people are on the ground doing their stuff, Sisko is discovering that the lower decks are all being taken over by
Lower decks.
by the Borg.
Right.
So then Picard beams back up. He's like, "Oh my goodness, I will fix the situation." Beams back up. Cisco's like, "We need to blow up the ship." There's just like half the ship's taken over. Like it's raised 3 degrees in here or whatever. They say.
They've done the like navigation propulsion. Data locks out the main computer, and right then is when we have the conference room scene where they start to get heated. But then Picard pulls Sisko into the conference room, and so they're alone and they can hash it out. And they're like captain to captain, vastly different opinions on what to do next.
Right, but you still have to
Blow up the damn ship, Jean-Luc.
Yeah,
I can live with it.
But you have to have I think the bridge scene first, where Worf yells at Picard, because that's an important scene as well.
That's true.
You can still have that
Because I think.
Well, and that'd be really interesting where Picard is like Worf and Sisko are like on the same wavelength, and Picard, and to a lesser extent Data kind of is going to be more logical because he's an android, but he's also but yeah, it's you're starting to see like lines drawn in the sand, between these two.
Yeah, and Worf has to choose, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know what Worf does. He's given these two things, and then you have that sort of scene before they go to the conference room, maybe.
Ooh,
and then,
what about this?
Jean-Luc's like, Cisco's like, we need to blow up the ship. You got to do it. Commander Worf, but Jean-Luc's belay that order, and then Worf has to be like.
Oh yeah, that would be funny. That would be awkward. Yep.
So what about this? So they're on the bridge still. They're debating. Worf is like, "No, sir, we have to blow up the ship." And that's when we get the Picard calling him a coward. Like, you're a coward. You want to run away. And then,
that next line would sting a little different if Sisko's standing right there.
Well,
he could do like Captain, can I have a word?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then so here's the thing. So Sisko pulls Picard away, but as he's pulling him away, Picard's realizing he just messed up. Like, he shouldn't have said that to Worf. It's a really quick turnaround, but I think it still plays. So as he's leaving the bridge, he says to Mr. Worf, like, "Mr. Worf, you have the bridge." Like, he's showing like I totally just called you a coward, but I still trust you.
And then Data's like
running the bridge while we step into this other room.
Data's like, I'm stationed on this ship.
I'm literally the second
higher
officer.
rank. Hey, you know what? There would actually be
red.
An opportunity for, like, as Sisko and Picard go into the ready room, there would be you could have a cute little moment between Data and Worf calling back to the episode where he calls him his friend. Oh,
yeah, I don't remember which one, but I know what you're talking about. Where Worf was like, "Finally," and then he like beats him down in the ready room.
Yes, preemptive strike. I don't know. No, that's not right. I know what you're talking about. So.
Anyway, it could be anything.
It's your stupid two-parter that you like, Darren.
There's many.
Well,
Gambit.
Yes,
Gambit.
Okay,
yeah, Gambit.
Got it.
But anyways,
that's right.
So Sisko and Picard go into the conference room.
This is the scene.
Yeah,
this is the scene. Two powerhouses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they basically can have a very similar argument. Blow up the damn ship. and rawr, and blah. And then Sisko understands. But Sisko's being the cooler head here, and which is, of course, what you would not expect between these two.
I mean, he's still yelling, but he is sort of the writer.
You'd betray your uniform if you didn't blow up the ship. But,
yeah, I mean,
and that's true because Sisko being the cooler head is a little out of character, but it also is really impactful when Sisko's like, I think we need to make this sacrifice, like, because we all know the baggage that Sisko has, and obviously we'll have a couple lines for the people who haven't watched the show. But
because I think they can trade the lines, and so so because you can even have because you don't want to be repetitive, but it's something where Sisko's like because he doesn't have to repeat it like he did with Lily. But I guess you still have to tell the story if people haven't seen them. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Because he told the story to Lily. Because, by the way, if you haven't seen the episode that I'm talking about, Lily.
I think Picard. No, I think Picard is sharing about how he was assimilated, and basically Picard's like, that's what I went through, so I totally get. Like in a nutshell, he's saying that's what I went through, so I get that. So we can't pull back anymore. And Sisko is then retorting with like, yeah, dude, but like I totally lost my wife and all my friends and all this stuff.
Go ahead, Daniel.
I was just going to say you can change that story slightly so that Picard is recanting his experience of Wolf 359 and he's talking about like he could not stop. I couldn't stop myself.
And Sisko gets this far off look in his eye, and like that he had personal like repercussions onto his life because of that.
And because in many ways, it's been a second since I've seen the first episode of Deep Space Nine.
Emissary.
But Sisko's not very happy to see Picard on Deep Space Nine, and then at the end of the episode, they don't really address their relationship.
No, they don't.
But other than Sisko's like, no, I'm fine with being assigned here now, and Picard's like, that's not what you said earlier, and Sisko says, no takey backies. But we never get that relationship worked on, and so this is where, like you said, I think maybe it can start off from a caustic place where Sisko's like, you're not making, you're not objectionable, and Picard gives some bitchy line about like, this coming from the man whose wife was killed by the Borg, and you're like, oh shit, and then but then it does get into it where Picard is being, and maybe the ships are broken, but then Picard does give that same speech about explaining what happened to him.
Right.
And even though it's coming from a very bitter revenge or whatever you want to say, Picard's like...
We kind of get a bit of family where he's breaking down with Robert. Not that he's breaking down, but he's like, he's being way more transparent with Sisko because it's Sisko. It's another captain.
And you can just let that sort of explanation hang in the air, and Sisko's like, maybe picking up like the broken Enterprise D or something. He's like, I didn't know that, or something.
Right. It's like... He's like, I've never heard that side of the engagement, or something like that.
But that's the more reason why we have to, and then but he still picks up his argument.
Yeah, because, there's still valid arguments, like destroy the ship versus don't back down with the Borg, or they'll take everything. They're actually both good options, just depending on the moment.
And I think that's the theme, in as much as there is for this movie. Because I guess you guys can tell me what you think the actual theme of First Contact is. Because you have that sort of temptation of flesh and
go back in time.
But I feel like,
is it though? Well, no, it's just an adventure.
So for this theme, it can be the loss, because you have Picard talking about his loss of personality and what he was made to do, and you have Sisko his loss and what that loss can mean and what you can grow from, or I don't want it to be too cheery.
Ooh, they could also point out the fact.
I don't know.
Well, Picard could also point out the fact that he's like. Not that he's comparing about what he lost, but he's like, Starfleet didn't even trust me to fight them anymore. I wasn't even called to the battle.
And then Sisko's like, they gave me the tiniest ship possible. Basically a runabout, man.
And it didn't even work.
He designed it. So.
The Borg fighter didn't work against the Borg.
It was amazing. It almost ripped itself apart. It was so powerful.
Of course, they said, even if I destroy one, they'll just give me another one. It's like they bought a 6-pack of Defiant, so it's fine.
So, and here's the thing: how I'm thinking this concludes this scene. Either they agree, or
they have to table it because something else comes up.
Yeah,
and they have to...
how do we get Picard captured at that?
I like
point?
it because you still have that where Sisko convinces Picard, which I think is a very powerful scene because we always feel like if you're Picard fans, like, oh wow, so anyway, and you have that whole thing, abandoned ship, you get the still, and then finally you get that last moment of like, some sort of like Sisko to Picard, like, so Captain has to be the last to leave, and you understand, and then right when Sisko's ready to leave the turbolift, you just see Picard go shh, disappears. And they're like,
I want to take it up a notch. I'm going to make this conference room scene is going to be even more. So I'm having them do it in the conference room with the Golden Enterprises, not just his ready room, which I think was a different room. But anyway, so remember the Borg have been stuck at deck whatever, like they can't.
Just pop out.
But the Queen wants Locutus, and apparently transporters have been locked out from the main computer. So, this is. Oh, I'm excited. This is going to be good. So they've had their squabble, and
tiff, if you will,
their tiff, and
Captain's tiff.
Sisko. Now you guys tell me if this is too much, but like Sisko's like, "What is that?" He looks out the window, and we see, we see Borg. Like Borg had plant a charge on the window, decompress it. And then all like wrap around, grab Locutus or grab Picard. Sisko almost gets sucked out into space before like the emergency force field comes down. So they literally like trash the conference room, and that's how they get Locutus and pull him down. And so he's also now been exposed to vacuum, so he's kind of jacked up as well. I mean, he's going to get Borgified a little bit. But what do you guys think of that?
I think it's easier just to like. Whatever
beam him out.
They figured out the beam situation and they beamed him out.
But yeah, because it's a Borg beam. It's not a
that's true.
They modified our transporters with their Borg technology.
If we really want to be like just we're just using everything we used before. Everything's fine. He's about to say a Borg appears, does the whole just like best.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and then
and he's like, not again.
And then. Yeah, so great. So you have this great reconciliation.
They do literally on the bridge, like they were about to give the order to evacuate the ship.
And Sisko could be like, everyone leave, or everyone's already left. Sisko's the only one left, so he has to go save Picard by himself because everyone's abandoned the ship.
No, we want Data and Worf to be there too. So it
command crew is still there.
Yeah. Let's say that somehow it's revealed that the Queen is observing them, and so they go back to the bridge and they're about to set the auto destruct. Data and Picard are about to set the auto destruct, and
or they set it. It was. I remember in the movie it was already set.
Yeah.
But either way.
Yeah, either way, or they just set it, and that's when they beam in, take Picard, and beam right out. And now Worf, everybody else is gone. Worf, Data, and Sisko, and Beverly, if you want her to.
I like Beverly. I want to. Well, I could like it
that. You could proceed with a Sisko Borg Queen Locutus confrontation, and sometimes where it doesn't go in too long, but like the scene is so involved, the audience have forgotten we had Worf and Data and Beverly here, and so like at the last minute when like it seems like Locutus is Locutus and Sisko's like going to get shot or get assimilated or whatever, suddenly like. I don't know what you tell me what they do, but like Data
repelling. Wait! It got even better
Data
because you remember
jumps out of the sky and still gets to say
no. But you remember? I mean, yeah, Data is Data, but like Beverly and Worf went all
black
commando
pajamas.
With Picard.
They wore those same.
They totally back pajama it up. That would be and they're like rappelling down the warp core.
Two Borg suddenly like take off their mask and it's definitely Beverly and Worf the whole time. It's like Captain America Winter Soldier style.
But yeah, no, I want to keep Beverly on there. I want her to be able to have more in the movie, and I think also from a medical biological point of trying to bring back Picard. I mean, Data and Beverly were the ones who did it. So
sleep.
Yeah, maybe they'll just put them all to sleep again. But yeah, so yeah, whether it's a quick reveal later that we've forgotten they're still there, but
because each of them gets to bang one of the engineering gases, tubes.
Yeah, so we come down to we get some scenes with Picard and the Queen, blah blah blah. I mean, that's negligible at this point. It's the temptation. Gandalf kind of talked about that already.
Well, I'm also seeing that Picard and Sisko do like with the Borg Queen Skull. They sort of do like a wishbone with the neck and head.
Oh, jeez. God.
It's the bigger piece. So.
Well, no. So he's down there. He's becoming Locutus. And then we have Sisko, Data, Worf, and Beverly. Like, they stock up, I totally want to see Worf and Beverly are in commando black uniforms.
I do like
for the rest
they
of
could
this.
be the ones who do come from the top and then just
they're totally going to be the ones.
The, gas things and Data.
And then
Data runs in. Yeah.
And then Sisko and Data are going on the main door to try to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And
so does the Borg Queen confront Sisko about his wife?
I think you could almost. I mean, I don't want it to be.
But she was just killed. She wasn't assimilated.
Well, I just want to. I don't know if it's too much because it's almost bookends. Because the beginning of the movie, of course, we have Picard doing his Locutus flashback, which we're now going to get a new one of. Do we want Sisko to have a flashback to Wolf 359? Do we want to reconstruct? I mean, not like a long one, but like just the 5 seconds. You would have to recast Jennifer, of course.
Like, we have to go now, sir. We can't just leave her.
You get like a 3D thing of the Saratoga being exploded by the Borg.
Yeah, you just make the flashback from that Picard has in the beginning. You just put that in there, and then when Sisko's talking about it, you can just flash it on.
Because like when he sees the new Locutus, he's like, flashback.
Yeah, that's true. It just
double
insert
I-beam lasers.
Just insert that.
No.
Well, we'd get that amazing like tracking in shot or tracking out shot of Picard. Like, but yeah, no, I agree. I think that's simplest just to add a couple of bits to that flashback nightmare that establishes like the Saratoga. Like the word Saratoga is mentioned through some comm that the Borg pick up, and we see it destroyed. Then, like we've lost the Saratoga, and then when Sisko drops that name, the ship name later, it ties together.
You can almost hear like
for the audience,
like when Picard was hearing the Borg voices in the beginning. You can sort of hear like the Ben will hear like sort of like the voices of like shields are down 68%, abandoned ship, just all that stuff.
Right.
And then you just hear that chung voice of Locutus being in front of him. I am Locutus of Borg. He could have like a couple of seconds of like dropping his phaser rifle and be like, no.
So is Sisko and Data then having the intellectual conversation with the Queen and Locutus before Beverly and Worf repel in? Some sort of scene like that, where he's trying to reach him.
He's there to distract.
We think he's there to reason with them, but he's really there to distract them.
Right. Yeah, and then Beverly has some sort of anti-Borg serum or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe she has to.
It's like bat like the bat anti-serum. Like, it's the anti-Borg serum. When did you make that? We just have it in stock.
And then we could have like Worf like going 1-to-1 with the Queen. Like he's got to kind of keep the Queen back while they're trying to, because you're fighting two, and the droids.
Well, I
mean, you could just make it. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, you could have the same thing where, like, Sisko and maybe Data, are captured and they're having to deal with, Locutus is about to fire on the Phoenix or something. And then, it's like, you'll never defeat us for the Borg. It's like, we'll defeat, we'll get Locutus back the same way we did last time. And how was that? By working together. And then that's when they fall out of the thing and smash the glass.
By the power of family, or whatever they say.
Teamwork, guys. Let's go.
But then I love the Beverly and Worf rappel down, release some sort of compound that knocks out most of the Borg, and then Data just turns and smashes, because he again is the only one that's not going to get killed by the plasma coolant.
Okay.
That's a perfect way.
I was gonna let me reverse that. So, so you do have Data. Well,
they're trying to get Locutus up.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
out of the harm's way.
They fall down, or they shimmy down for Locutus.
They rappel down.
Yeah. So Worf basically holds
and latch
Locutus,
onto him,
and then Beverly does her anti-Borg serum.
Yeah.
And then
something like that, or the two of them come down and grab like
snatch and grab.
Locutus, and they're literally like hooking on to his Borg parts to like get him out of there, and then Data just and then Data, like the Borg's, the Queen's like, what the? And then Data kind of has like a one eyebrow like smirk, and then just smashes, reaches back and smashes the coolant, and then Sisko's like booking it out of there because he doesn't want to be there.
Well, you could have, I don't know if you want to. You could almost have Sisko doing the like,
pulling him up.
Well, like going by. George of the Jungling it.
Well, I was gonna. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'd say Sisko could be. If Worf and Beverly are getting Locutus out of there, and Sisko's got to hold back the Queen, but also gets the same kind of moments that Picard has. I know what you're meaning. Where it's rising and he's got to get up, and
but I almost like it.
But the Queen dies, and
or does she? Emergency
all the
temporal disruption.
Yeah. That's such a Doctor Who thing.
The Daleks always disappear at the end. Because I can almost see like the very ending where because Picard has to get sick bayed, and so there's the scene at the end on the bridge where Picard walks in and Sisko's in the captain's seat maybe, and he's like I hear I'm getting your ship back, and Picard's like it was in better condition when I saw it last, but
No, so this is what I'm thinking for the ending. We have to have a button scene with Sisko and Picard alone, where they reconcile. Where Sisko comes in and says, "Listen, I was too hard on you. Whatever. We're buddies now. Not buddies. They're not going to be buddies. But he respects him, and he understands what he's gone through. And they've defeated this.
I was going to say,
maybe we get the whole the fact that it becomes apparent that Sisko realizes that Picard remembers everything. Very similar to Indicative of End of Best of Both Worlds, where they're like, "What do you remember?" And he's like, "Everything." And Picard and Sisko kind of gets more of the vibe of, okay, this wasn't really his fault, and he's got this trauma, that I didn't really consider.
And then Sisko's like, "I've left something in your ready room," and he leaves, and then Picard opens this container, and it's an orb. Oh my god, guys, it's an orb! Oh god, it's the orb of healing.
The orb of healing. The orb of friendship.
The orb of friendship. That's even better. Oh, man. But then, of course, you have to have a scene at the end.
It's I was just wanted to piss off Kai Wynn, so I took one of their orbs and I'm gifting it to you, Picard. It's the orb of friendship.
There's no way Kai Wynn had the orb of friendship.
No, but I'm saying she would be upset if anyone took a Bajoran orb just to give to another human for a sign of friendship.
Yeah, and John Luke's like, I could, recommend.
Although I'm just seeing the giant plot hole of what you had this on the Defiant during the attack on the Borg. That seems highly improbable.
What do you think the orb of friendship going to do with the Borg? It's not going to help at all.
The prophets told me that's the answer to everything.
I can see John Luke's I could recommend you for Starship Command, duty again, and just was I have a station to get.
I'm more of a station man myself.
And then you have to have a scene where
First contact.
Everybody says goodbye to Worf and O'Brien again, and Adam Scott, and Sisko.
I guess Adam Scott can live. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Saying goodbye.
Adam Scott must die.
Well, wait. So then, are we showing a scene back in the future? Because they end it with them just leaving.
Okay.
Time.
I'm not saying we can't. I'm just saying it changes it a little bit.
Actually, hold on 1 second.
And
how do they get back in the future in First Contact?
They LaForge is I was able to recreate the anomaly we detected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He scienced the science and reversed
you add this on
compared with O'Brien and LaForge together. I mean, of course they figured it out.
After the First Contact scene, they go back to the Defiant, and the Enterprise is helping, make sure the Defiant can fly again or whatever. And that's when you have those button-up scenes.
And you have the Enterprise.
Okay, I see. So they return right to the moment they had left, and so they come back into the wreckage of the Borg
Except
cube.
now it's
the
1 Pine
and we get
Sector 001, even though it was the 2 Pine when they left. Never mind.
And then they look down and they're relieved to see that Earth is not all Borg, and we get the shaking of hands and parting of ways scene, as the. And we get a fanfare of the DS9.
See, I was thinking you could have Sisko contact Kira as hey, we're on our way home now. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Jam packing everything
sort of
in
thing.
After credit scene.
That could be the after credit scene. Sure, why not?
After credit scene. And I'm assuming the rest of the stuff on the planet went on pretty much as the movie, except for us adding O'Brien and Lily.
Yeah.
I don't think there was much to change with that.
Now, in this future, there's a Lily statue thanks to O'Brien.
What was that, Philip?
So now there's a Lily statue in the future thanks to O'Brien.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
I mean, because we all know eventually there's going to be an O'Brien statue, but that's neither here nor there.
A couple thousand years in the future.
I forgot about that. I was going to say the Lily statue stands even taller than the Cochrane statue, but I'm pretty sure James Cromwell's like 8 feet tall. So
yeah, he's really tall. He says, "That'll do, Lily. That'll do."
So yeah, that's Star Trek First Contact 2.0.
Plus. The plus means better.
Version 9.
That was fun.
Well, man, I think if that taught me anything, it's that when you have a lot of characters, it's really hard finding something for them all to do.
It's like you're writing Generations.
Oh my gosh, it's like, I mean, just all we added was like what?
3.
2 characters.
Well, you're right too. You're right too.
I mean, 2 mains.
Oh yeah, because Worf is already there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, we added
there.
Adam Scott too,
and we changed Worf's role a lot, and we shifted a major part away from Picard. Like, not that he still doesn't have stuff to do, but he doesn't carry it as much solely as in the original movie.
Yeah. And so when we get
that's
Voyager crew into
a lot.
Insurrection, it's going to be crazy. So
maybe this is what happened. And then as they're writing it, they're like, guys, this is way too much. Let's just cut Sisko and O'Brien. They're out. Worf gets a pass, and we'll
I
keep
feel like
him
we have
on
too many
board.
Adams cutscenes, guys. Let's just make it one.
Oh no!
But
what would the Voyager crew do in Insurrection? We'll find out next time.
oh my god, no! Just wait. I don't
somehow make it even more.
I need
boring.
another week to think about that. My brain can't process that much change in once.
All right, Darren. Well, if people wanted to get a hold of you and talk to you about your theories on who the anti-aging radiation would affect the most, how would they find you?
Oh, God. Neelix. He becomes a infant child.
No. Ensign Kim's going to be the baby. Like, we already know that.
You could find me on drsci-fi.com.
And, Philip, if people want to talk to you about your fan theory about Anij and Chakotay, how would they find you?
Wow. Man, her and Janeway are going to have a fight. They can find me on Twitter at NCPublicServant, and then we can talk about Nemesis and Enterprise.
Wait, I'm just picturing, like, hold this moment, Akuchimura.
Oh, man. We are far from the bones of our people. Anyways,
delete the girlfriend. Oh, sorry.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I don't even know where to go. Yeah, you know what? I will say, and if people want to talk to me about this, the Doctor would fit very well on the hologram ship. So you can find me on Twitter at OneUpDan. That's the number 1, not the word. All right. That's it for this week. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 4 for this episode.
Ooh.